Hello, and welcome back to Spittin Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar, and I'm coming at you from the 256. Today, I'm just going to touch on what happened with college football over the weekend. I know I posted no video yesterday; it was a holiday, so I decided not to make and post a video. Plus, we still had a big game that still had to happen last night in college football, so I'm just going to touch on every top 25 team that played this week and how their game turned out for them, and maybe just give a quick little thing about each one that I was able to watch. But anyway, so on Thursday night, as far as top 25 teams, you had UCF just whoop up on UConn. Was a conference game. They are 1-0, 1-0 in the conference. Interesting enough, they scored 14 points in every quarter and ended up winning 56-17. And then Friday, we saw three top 25 teams in action. You had Wisconsin beat Western Kentucky 34-3. Just cruised. Nothing too crazy there. Utah State gave Michigan State all they could handle, but Michigan State pulled it out late. But it was a really good game. I got to see some of that. Utah State pushed Michigan State to the brink, but Michigan State still came out on top. Stanford, they ended up winning pretty easily in the end of the game. It was only 9-7 at one point, Stanford, but they pulled away in the second half, winning 31-10 over San Diego State. Bryce Love did not have a very good game, but it did not matter. KJ Costello, quarterback for Stanford, he did have a good game. Number one, as we all probably know now, number one, Alabama, they did win 51-14. Tua's the guy. That's just all there is to that. After seeing he makes those plays that people usually make to beat Alabama. He made the plays. He's the quarterback that makes those plays. Just turn around and throw it and let the receiver go get it. Those are the plays that usually beat Alabama, and now they have somebody that makes those plays. Gonna be hard to beat. Gonna be hard to beat Alabama. Always is, but now they have a superstar quarterback. It seems it's gonna be bad. It may be very difficult for anybody to really beat Alabama this year. I did get to watch this game start to finish. Even when it was 7-0 and Alabama fumbled and then it was 14-0, just from opening kickoff you could feel that this was not going to be a very close game. I know I said I did believe Alabama would only win by 17 or 20 points. They won by 37. So they looked very good. Move on, Clemson. They played Furman, and they do have a quarterback battle on their hands that doesn't look like it's close to being decided yet. Trevor Lawrence had a very good game. Kelly Bryant didn't play too bad himself either. And, of course, Clemson cruised 48-7. Georgia, they played Austin Peay. It was 45-0. Very easy game for them. Ohio State put up 77 points on the board. They crushed Oregon State 77-31. They may question giving up 31 points, but they scored 77. So if you can score like that, it don't matter. It does not matter how much you give up, as long as you ain't giving up 70. Auburn, they did like I thought they would. They did pull it out in the end over Washington. Auburn won 21-6. Washington struggled for a while to really get the ball moving around, and then the second half, Washington, they did score 10 points late in the first half to make it a 16-15 game, and it was just really not cruise, but it was really a defensive battle. Both teams really struggled to do anything with the football. But Auburn, they ended up coming out on top, 21-16. But Jake Browning had a good game, and it was a close game. So, although I do think Washington's chances for the playoff are over because they don't have that chip in their pocket now to say, we beat Auburn, or we won, we beat somebody out of conference. It was a close game. Both teams looked good. Both teams looked very good defensively. But we'll just see as the season goes whether Washington can get back in the conversation. One game that I thought would be more interesting because we didn't know what to expect out of Oklahoma's defense was Oklahoma FAU, but they put any doubt Obviously, we didn't think they were going to lose that game, but we wanted to see what Kiffin could do against that defense, and that was next to nothing. Kyler Murray played most of the first half. If he even finished the first half, he went 9 of 11, 209, 2 touchdowns. Just cruise. It was like they could have just closed their eyes and won this football game pretty easily. They were up 28-0 after the first, and then they were up 42-0 at halftime. And obviously they just crushed Florida Atlantic. Penn State, they had to go to overtime to take out Appalachian State. And what's even funnier about that game is it was 10 years, I believe it was the 10 years to the day that Appalachian State, still part of the FCS then, beat number 5 Michigan. But it did go to overtime. Penn State won. They scored a touchdown. They had an interception in overtime to seal the game. But some question marks for Penn State? Yes, most certainly. But Appalachian State scored 28 points in the fourth quarter. They were up 10-7 after the first, and then they didn't score until the fourth, and they scored 28. 28 in the second half, or in the fourth quarter alone, to, at one time, take the lead. And then Penn State scored with less than a minute left, went to overtime, won the game. New season, same song for Michigan. Shea Patterson didn't have an awful game. He was 20 of 30 for 227, and he ended up having one interception. But Notre Dame just pretty much controlled this game all the way through. And in the end, Michigan had chances, but it was just, like I said, same song, different season for Michigan. They got their quarterback now. They're going to do it. It ended up not being that way. They got beat 24-17 by Notre Dame. You just don't know. Michigan still does have one of the hardest schedules in the country, so they're definitely by no means out of the conversation. But it's going to be very hard. Lost opening weekend. Everybody thought they got the quarterback. It's their time to show us what they really got, but still couldn't get it done. You had USC and UNLV. USC took care of business. TCU played Southern 55-7. No problems for TCU. West Virginia, Will Grier. Whew, that offense is going to be dirty. They beat Tennessee. West Virginia beat Tennessee 40-14. Will Grier was 25 of 34 to 429 and 5 touchdowns. David Sills, that's supposed to be his right-hand man this season. 7 catches, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. West Virginia all over Tennessee. Of course, we didn't expect Tennessee to win this game. We didn't expect them to. I didn't expect them to get beat that bad, but Will Grier making a strong case for that Heisman bid to start the season. Good start. Good start for West Virginia. Mississippi State, they took care of Stephen F. Austin 63-6. No issues there, even without starting quarterback Nick Fitzgerald. But they're a good enough team. They took care of business. Boise State, they ended up just destroying Troy. I expected that one to be a lot closer, but I did expect Troy to win. But Troy by 36, 56-20. Michigan, they got to stop starting the season with Maryland, it seems like. Maryland beat Michigan for the second straight season to start the year. Maryland and Texas. I don't know. Expectations for Texas again this year, and immediately shot down by a Maryland team. Now, they were obviously playing for a little bit more for their fallen teammate, but still you'd expect Texas to win that game. But Maryland, again, takes care of business, beats Texas again, 34-29 this season. Oregon, they cruised to beat Bowling Green 58-24. The biggest surprise of the weekend for me right here, LSU handled Miami. I didn't get to watch this game because I had other things that I had to do, but just keeping track of it and talking with people, and obviously by them being up 27-3 at halftime, it's just wow. LSU just took it to Miami big time, but now that leaves Miami. What are they going to do with the rest of the year? And LSU, the quarterback play might have been. It wasn't anything spectacular looking at his stat line, but they ran the ball and the defense just dominated. Miami didn't put a touchdown on the board till the fourth quarter, and they put 2 on the board. So this game was really just way worse. It ended up 33-17. in LSU's favor, but it 33-3. I don't. It wasn't actually 33-3, but 33-17 was the final. LSU start to finish just absolutely dominated Miami. But again, unfortunately, I did not get to watch it. But LSU could be a problem. Coach O might have the boys ready to go because he wants to keep his job, and these boys want to keep him as their coach. But I did get to watch this game, the final game last night on Monday, September 3rd. Virginia Tech just absolutely manhandled Florida State. Florida State couldn't fall out of a boat and hit water last night. Anytime they did something, they immediately had a turnover, missed a field goal, just something. Francois had 3 interceptions. Virginia Tech just cruised. They just dominated the whole game last night. But I did say Virginia Tech was going to win their division in the ACC this season, and they made a huge statement going forward with that. Now that makes you question how ready a team. Willie Taggart's obviously not going to get fired after 1 year, but he's got to right the ship somehow this year. He's got his quarterback back. He's got a backup that has experience. But long season, only 1 week. But Virginia Tech looked very good, and Florida State looked very, very bad. But that is it for week 1. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll figure out what I want to talk about. Thursday will probably just be NFL Pick'em. I will do a Pick'em for the NFL, much like I'm doing for college football each week. But just some of the matchups this week. On Friday, you do have one ranked team in TCU playing. They travel to SMU. They'll be playing Southern Methodist in Dallas on Friday night at 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Just a few other big out-of-conference matchups. Mississippi State and Kansas State. Mississippi State will head to Kansas State this weekend. UCLA heads to Norman, Oklahoma, to take on the Oklahoma Sooners. One of the biggest games of the weekend, Georgia heads to South Carolina. We'll see if South Carolina's really ready to stand up to the test and back up those preseason expectations for once. And then Georgia, we'll see how good they are and how ready they are for the rest of the season. But week 2 starts off a tough test for Georgia. But I do look forward to seeing that game. Let's see who else. Clemson, another big game, possibly the biggest game of the weekend. I believe this is where College Game Day will be. Clemson heads to Texas A&M. They will be in College Station. Initial line is 11.5 in favor of Clemson. So we'll see what Jimbo's got week 2 for Texas A&M. Huge game, huge national title implications. A&M wins this game. Forget them just being SEC contenders. They are probably national contenders right out of the gate. But that one's probably the biggest game of the weekend. Penn State, Pittsburgh, rivalry game in Pittsburgh. That will be Saturday as well. USC, Stanford, another top 15 matchup. USC and Stanford do play this weekend at 7:30 on Fox. But obviously these games I will talk about more when I do picks on Friday, because these are all some pretty big games here. Michigan State, they travel to Tempe, Arizona to take on the Arizona State Sun Devils. Another big game. But that is just where I'll leave this one. Just wanted to recap some of the things that happened in week 1. Looking forward to week 2. Tomorrow, like I said, I don't really know what I'm going to do as far as a video. We might touch on some baseball, some other things. But Thursday will be NFL Pick'em as we get the NFL season started this week and this weekend. Friday will be college football Pick'em again, like I did last Friday. Tonight, I do have another live fantasy draft. I will see about doing another live stream of that draft just to hang out, have a good time. People want to join to help me make some picks and tell me why my picks are so terrible sometimes. Maybe give me some help with that. But we'll see as it goes along. Got some things to take care of. We'll see if I am able to do that tonight. But that is all I really wanted to say today. Moving forward, don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. But Thursday, look for NFL Pick'ems. and kind of talk about that. Friday, some more college football pickup. We'll go over how I did from this past weekend. But this has been Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar. I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow.